Imagine spending thousands on your dream trip to Norway, only to realize you've made some critical mistakes that could have been easily avoided. Unfortunately, that is what most tourists do in their first visit to this breathtaking country. Today, I'm breaking down the top 5 challenges that almost nobody talks about when visiting Norway. Things you should know before you spend all your money and time. And trust me, knowing these before you go could literally save you thousands of dollars and countless hours of frustration. After exploring every corner of this incredible country, I've learned the hard way so you don't have to. So whether you're planning your first trip or you've been before but struggled with some aspects, this is the guide for you. Let's dive in. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more travel tips. Let's address the Norwegian elephant in the room, the prices. Norway is consistently ranked among the most expensive countries in the world, and even when you think you're mentally prepared, you're probably not. My first day in Oslo, I ordered what I thought was a casual lunch. A sandwich, coffee and a small dessert. The bill? 320 Norwegian kroner. That's about $30 USD, and that was at a casual cafe, not a fancy restaurant. Here's the breakdown of what you should actually expect to pay. A basic hotel room, $150 to $300 per night. A simple restaurant meal, $25 to $40 per person without drinks. A local beer, $10 to $15 at a pub. A one-way train ticket between cities, $50 to $100. Coffee from a cafe, $5 to $7. But here's what nobody tells you. There are ways around this if you know where to look. For example, first, grocery stores like Kiwi and Rema 1000 are your best friends. By purchasing breakfast and lunch items here, you can cut food expenses by more than half. Second, Norway's public water is not just safe, it's absolutely delicious. That reusable water bottle in your backpack, it'll save you at least $10 to $15 per day that tourists waste on bottled water. Third, take advantage of Norway's incredible allemannsretten law, the right to roam. This means free camping in most natural areas, which I'll come back to it later. And finally, if you're staying for more than a few days in one region, look into transportation passes. The Oslo Pass, Bergen card and similar city cards include public transportation and museum entries, often paying for themselves in just one day of sightseeing. The bottom line, Norway will be expensive, but with smart planning, you can easily cut your expenses by 30 to 40% without sacrificing experiences. Norway's public transportation is both a blessing and a curse. It's incredibly clean, efficient, and connects you to some of the most remote, beautiful places on Earth. But there are 3 major problems most tourists don't discover until it's too late. First, frequency. Outside of major cities, public transportation often runs just a few times per day, sometimes only once. During my second trip, I missed the only bus from Bergen to Ålesund and ended up stranded for an entire day. Second, the seasonal schedule changes. Many of the most scenic routes, like the famous Norway in a nutshell, operate on reduced schedules or close completely during winter months from October to April. Third, the booking system confusion. Norway has multiple transportation companies with separate booking systems. VY for trains, Norway Bus Express for long-distance buses, and various local companies. There's no single app or website that connects them all. Here's what works best. Always, and I mean always, check the return schedule before planning a day trip. Write down departure times, confirm them with locals, and build in buffer time. Book long-distance train journeys at least 60 days in advance on vi.no for their mini-prise tickets. These can be 70% cheaper than day of purchases. For my Bergen to Oslo trip, I paid 299 Norwegian kroner instead of 950 Norwegian kroner by booking early. Consider renting a car if you're visiting multiple locations outside major cities. While expensive up front, the freedom and time saved often justifies the cost, especially if traveling with others to split the expense. And my insider tip? Download the Enter app. While not perfect, it's the closest thing to a unified transportation planner Norway has, combining most train and bus options in one search. Finally, remember that transportation in Norway isn't just functional, it's often an attraction itself. The Bergen Railway, Flam Railway and coastal ferries offer some of the most spectacular views you'll ever experience, so consider them part of your sightseeing, not just a way to get around. Finding the right place to stay in Norway presented challenges I never expected, and not just because of the costs. The biggest shock? Availability. During summer months, particularly July and August, accommodations in popular areas like Lofoten Islands, Geirangafjord, Bergen, and even parts of Oslo can book out 6 to 12 months in advance. My trip to Lofoten taught me this lesson the hard way. I planned a last-minute June trip to the Lofoten Islands, only to find literally 0 hotels or Airbnbs available. I ended up sleeping in my rental car for 2 nights before finding a cancellation. The second issue is the unexpected size of accommodations. Norwegian hotel rooms are typically much smaller than American or even other European rooms, especially in historic buildings or city centres. And here's what really surprises most tourists: the prevalence of self-service. Many smaller hotels, especially in remote areas, operate without 24-hour front desks. You'll receive a door code by email or text, and you're on your own for check-in. So what's the solution to these accommodation headaches? First, book ridiculously early for summer trips, ideally 6 to 9 months in advance. For my last summer trip to Geiranger, I booked in September for a June visit. Second, consider alternatives to traditional hotels. Norway has an excellent network of DNT cabins, more than 500 hiking cabins in the mountains and forests. Some are staffed with meals provided, others are basic shelters, but all offer authentic Norwegian experiences at a fraction of hotel costs. Third, leverage Norway's allemannsretten, the freedom to roam. This law allows you to camp almost anywhere on uncultivated land for up to 2 nights, as long as you're at least 150 meters from the nearest inhabited house or cabin. For budget travelers, this means you can legally pitch a tent in some of the most spectacular settings imaginable, completely free. I've camped beside fjords with million-dollar views that would make luxury hotel guests jealous. Just remember to follow leave no trace principles and be respectful of nature and property. This freedom comes with responsibility. And my insider tip: consider booking accommodation with kitchen facilities from booking.com or Airbnb. Even simple meals you prepare yourself will save substantial money compared to eating out for every meal. The saying, "There's no bad weather, only bad clothing," might as well be Norway's unofficial motto. But what they don't tell you is just how quickly that weather can change. I've experienced sunny, perfect conditions turn into sideways rain and near-freezing temperatures within 30 minutes in July. This isn't occasional, it's the norm, especially along the western coast and in mountain regions. This weather whiplash catches most tourists completely unprepared, leading to miserable experiences or even dangerous situations. During my hike to Trolltunga, I watched dozens of tourists shivering in soaked cotton t-shirts and jeans as an unexpected storm rolled in. The challenge is compounded by Norway's unique geography. You can experience multiple climate zones in a single day's journey. The weather in Oslo can be completely different from Bergen, despite being just a few hours apart. So how do you prepare for this meteorological rollercoaster? First, embrace the Norwegian philosophy of layering. My standard packing list includes a moisture-wicking base layer, an insulating mid-layer like fleece or wool, a waterproof and windproof outer shell, waterproof hiking shoes, even for city trips, quick-dry pants, avoid jeans when possible, and wool socks. They stay warm even when wet. Second, check multiple weather sources. The Norwegian Meteorological Institute's YR.no website and app are significantly more accurate for Norwegian weather than international weather apps. Third, plan flexible itineraries. I always have indoor backup activities researched for days when the weather makes outdoor plans impossible. And my insider tip: don't trust hotel weather forecasts or the sunny sky you see at breakfast. Always bring your rain gear and an extra layer, even on seemingly perfect days. The 15 minutes it takes to pack these could save your entire day's experience. The final challenge is subtle, but can significantly impact your experience: misunderstanding Norwegian social customs and culture. Norwegians are often perceived as cold, unfriendly, or standoffish by tourists. But this couldn't be further from the truth. It's simply a cultural difference in how personal space and social interaction work. Most embarrassing moment? Trying to make small talk with locals on a train or in a bus. The uncomfortable silence and short responses made you think you'd somehow offended everyone, when in reality quiet contemplation in public spaces is the norm, not the exception. What is true is that Norwegian social culture values personal space, privacy, and directness. Small talk with strangers isn't customary. That doesn't mean Norwegians are unfriendly. If you need genuine help, they're incredibly generous and kind. Another surprise for many tourists: tipping is not expected or common in Norway. Service staff are paid living wages, and adding 15 to 20% to your already expensive meal can cause confusion rather than appreciation. So how do you navigate these cultural differences? First, embrace the Norwegian concept of ro, calmness and tranquility. Public transportation, cafes and restaurants are often quieter than you might expect. This isn't rudeness, it's cultural. Second, understand that directness is valued. Norwegians generally say what they mean without excessive politeness, phrases many tourists are accustomed to. This efficiency shouldn't be mistaken for rudeness. Third, respect the famous Norwegian personal bubble. Standing too close in lines or forcing conversation can make locals uncomfortable. And finally, when seeking help or information, begin with a simple "excuse me" rather than elaborate explanations. You'll find Norwegians are actually incredibly helpful once engaged with a specific need. Once you understand and respect these cultural norms, Norwegians are some of the warmest, most helpful people you'll ever meet, just on their own cultural terms. Norway remains one of a must-visit destinations on Earth despite these challenges, or perhaps because overcoming them made the experience that much more rewarding. To recap, the 5 major challenges are: 1. The shocking costs; 2. Transportation complexity; 3. Accommodation challenges; 4. Weather whiplash; and 5. Cultural misunderstandings. But with the right preparation and mindset, every single one of these can be managed or even turned into a positive part of your Norwegian adventure. If you found this helpful, please hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below with any questions or your own Norway travel tips. I respond personally to every comment. Tusen takk for watching. That's thank you very much in Norwegian, and see you soon.